There are times when you want large, soft light, just a beautiful portrait, mid-length, without a lot of hassle. And so this is my go-to lighting setup for that, because it's a no-fail lighting setup. And so what I'm using here is I have a 135 centimeter Octabox here. So this is a Rotolux Deep, and it's big. So 135 centimeters, I don't do well with metrics, but you can see that this is a pretty large, it's like 5 feet across, something like that. And so what I've done is I've just placed this to the side and as close as I can get it to the camera. So it's on axis as much as possible. It's going to give us really beautiful light. And so what I've also done is I've had Shayla, she's sitting toward the light. And that is key because we want that light to fall on her face in a way that shows all of her beautiful skin and the shadows sculpt and shape her. And so that's what's going to happen with this beautiful light. The other thing is we're shooting on a white background back here, and even though it's way far away from our model, so it's about 12 feet away, 10 feet away, something like that, it is still going to show up as a nice soft gray. So that light fall off is going to give us nice gray. If you want white, then you can add some, but I like that gray look. It's just very plain and simple. It doesn't draw the eye away from our subject. And since we have a beautiful model, we don't need anything in the background. The other thing that we're doing here is I have this Rotolux strip light. And so this is about 3 feet by 8 inches, something like that. It's very tall and narrow. And the direction of this light is it's hitting to one side of her, which is sort of like because we have this shoulder that is toward the camera. And since it's toward the camera, we want light to fall across that and give us this really nice, soft highlight, and that's exactly what we're going to get. Now in this lighting setup, I try to balance my key light and my separation light equally. I try to have them meter essentially the same value, and we get this really amazing look. So we'll have sort of a dark shadow right here, but that highlights the shape and form of our subject. So what we're going to do is I'm going to first meter the key light, and so I need to make sure I don't have anything in memory here. So I'll clear all of that out. It's cleared out. And now I'm going to meter that key light. And that meters at F11. So we have F11 there. You see that? Okay, F11. And then what I'm going to do is I've put that in memory. Now I'm going to use my Delta EV feature that I love. And then I'm going to meter that. And you can see that is essentially the same value. So it's negative 0.1. So it's 1/10 of a stop difference. If I just nudged my strip light just a little bit, it'd be exactly the same. So I'm not going to fuss over a 1/10 stop difference in lighting. They're essentially the same thing. And so what I'm going to do is first I want to take a portrait really quickly. And so what I've done is I've directed Shayla. So first let's have you have your arms on your lap, just sort of down. And so what I've done is I'm directing her how to pose because this is a mid-length shot. So if her arms are in her lap, I'm going to take this shot, and there we go. Such a beautiful light. What we're going to see here is when we look at this, there's a lot to dig into here. But the first thing is you can see that her arms look unnatural. They're sliced off. Her hand has been lost. We have sort of a left arm over here that's just growing out of her stomach. It looks weird. And so we need to fix that as a posing issue. So Shayla, let's have you put your arms up. There you go. Beautiful. And I'm going to shoot that. There we go. Now, look at the difference that that makes. I just need to recompose my shot. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. There we go. There we go. Now, you can see I've included all of her head. That looks so much better. And so instead of, in fact, I'll show you these side by side. Instead of the first shot where we have our arms chopped off, we have this beautiful pose, which works great. Okay, let's also go in and start unfolding what's happening with this light. So the thing I like about that separation light, that kicker light back there, the little strip softbox, is it's giving us this highlight on her arm. See how we have this beautiful sculpted light right here, and then the shadow that's next to it is giving form to her arm. It's really giving us this soft look, and see how this soft light on her shoulder, it just has a highlight right here, and then it fades out. It's sort of dark, and then we have this line from behind. That's really beautiful. I like how it's illuminated one side of her hair. I could have added another kicker to match both sides of her hair, but I think this looks fine. I'm not going to worry about that too much. I want to show you what each of these lights are doing individually. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a photo of just the key light. And so let me first do that. So we will take a photo of a key light. Then we're going to take a photo of the kicker light. And then we will take a photo of everything together. Okay, so I'm going to show you these side by side by side. You can see what each one of those is doing. I'll show you this. That's the key light. Notice without that kicker, this all just falls into darkness. And so we don't get that shape. We don't get the form that we're looking for. And this is just the shape and form. That's that highlight there. It's so beautiful. And when you combine those, you get this finished portrait. So I'm going to take one more shot here so we can make sure that everything is exactly the way I like it. Beautiful. Turn your shoulders just slightly toward me. There you go. That is perfect. Just like that. Wham. Ah, that is so cool. And so this is just a beautiful, beautiful portrait. I'm going to zoom in really quickly here. And you can see we have this beautiful soft light. We don't need any other reflectors or modifiers. It all works great. You can see that we do have a tiny bit of lens flare right there. I could flag that light, add a grid or something to get rid of that, but I could just get rid of it in post-production by cropping this just slightly. So I could do something like that, and I'm not losing anything from the shot. And so there we have it. It looks really, really wonderful. And so with that, I think it's time for us to have our last looks.